Okay, I gotta be honest. I love triads. So we've talked about seventh chords and guide tones, and these are all really good things. And they just sound great. You can't lose with these, but people always overlook the triads. And I love the triads because they ground you. It like brings you home. So you could be playing all kinds of amazing stuff, and you will, but you know, once in a while, you know, there's nothing like a good solid triad to just make everything work. So when you come out of, you could do anything. That was just how I got out of that. That was a passing tone, and then E, C, G, E. A lot of times when I'm improvising, my target is a triad. So I might be playing through things by sound and by what's happening around me, but my target that I'm going to land on is a triad. So I might be thinking, okay, well, I'm heading to the 4 chord, so I'm going to get to an F triad. So it could get there anyway, and that's why you want to learn inversions. So any possibility that is how I resolve things and get grounded and hear the next thing that can happen to go forward in my improvisation or my solo. So that was what I ended was I mean, it's actually irrelevant what I did to get there. You could look at it and transcribe it, but you know, anybody can play at a certain level with certain things, but having a focus and having a direction, having a target is what makes all of that sound good. So you literally can play anything you want if you land properly. And what I landed on was a first inversion F triad. And, you know, I'm hoping to, you know, get this to you with the overhead camera, but we'll see if it's working when I go to try to implement that with you. But the bottom line is this is an F first inversion, A, C, F, A. And that's just a really great sound. So I can play my guide tones in my left hand. So there, whoops, that was not a passing tone. That was the 7th on the F. I mean, you could call it a passing tone. But for me, it was the 7th. And I heard it, so I played it. So the point also I'm making here that can help you is when people are improvising, learning to improvise, you're learning to hear these sounds so that you can use them. Because you don't want to just play with your brain. If you look at some of my other videos, I'm trying to play so I can teach you, and I'm trying to make sure I get the theory right and the fingering right and get my hands right so you can see. So all of that's thinking. So you hear I actually make mistakes. It's interesting to note that I make less mistakes improvising when I'm just playing from my heart and using my ear. And that'll be that way with you too. But in the beginning, you have to think things out. So you can like decide on, okay, so those were all second inversion triads. So I was starting on the E, G, E, C, G with an octave. And then when I went to my F chord, I did the same exact inversion. This gives cohesion to the listener. They hear it happening again in a different place, and it keeps them with you. So then the G, and I want to point out too, I've got a nice little lick there for you. You could take today too, is I'm hitting an octave. So I hit the 3rd of the chord, sorry, and then do the triad down. Then I'll go this way to the F, and then to the C. Now, the other thing you can do, which is fun, is you can slide up to that third of the chord. So on my G chord, I'm going to slide from B flat with my ring finger. Now you'll notice I'm playing this for you so you can see, but this is the fingering I would use to do that, because it's most efficient, it keeps my full hand involved, and I want the most dexterity I can get. And if you practice like this slowly, you'll be able to do what I'm doing. There's no way that you can't do this. You can do anything I'm doing. I've been doing this for a long time in this particular lick, so of course I can do it right now, but I had to practice to get there. So remember that everything I'm doing, you can do. If you want it, you can have it. It's right here, and all you have to do is be patient and work your way up to it. So then we have this slide. So if I slide that way, then when I go to my F, I'm going to do that again on the third using the A flat. And then when I go to my C, I'm going to do that. So then I can practice this, and I'm going to put my octave in there too. And you might hear I'm lagging that slide sometimes. Here's how I'm doing that. Sometimes I do it with my ring finger because you're thinking on the fly. So speed of thought, you don't think these things out. You do all of this in the practice studio with a metronome, and then you play. So those, you're not thinking when you're playing, or you can't play. But what I'm doing here is my third finger to the ring finger. Then my A flat. And then my E flat. And that's a great exercise. That can develop your hand. Here's the other way, sliding. The thing that's amazing to me about this is that if I play that on my G and F with my guide tones make it sound like jazz. My right hand sounds like classical triads, but my left hand is going to play the sound that makes it a jazz line. So here's my guide tones with the G and the F. And I went ahead to the C, so we'll do the whole thing. And so then the triads are just a great vehicle. So you can have, starting on a second inversion triad. Now I like hitting that octave at the top. I heard jazz players do this, so I try not to say too many names in my videos because I like to keep everything pure to just between you and I. But I have listened to a lot of people, and I've seen many live shows, and of course I've been playing all my life. So these things become part of you the more you do them. So I wanted to offer you that sometimes it's really cool when you go up a line and you hit an octave at the top, it just punctuates your idea really well. So you'd have this, and I'm hitting the octave on every one of these, and these are all second inversion major triads. Now I'm going to do videos on triads later because it's, oh my gosh, the triads, right? I can't say enough about triads. So if you could have triads, you know, in your house for coffee and hang out and talk with them, I would. It's just, triads are so incredible. So, but you'll hear that octave a lot when I'm playing, and that's something I really like, that punctuating that idea. hear me, I'm trying to move my body so you can see that octave happen in case the overhead doesn't work. So if it does, then you're hearing me talk and you can't see me pointing up, but I did. So anyway, what we want to do is work with these triads. So everybody says, oh, classical technique, classical boring, or I don't want to just be a classical pianist, you know. Says we're triplets. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Triplet, 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 and then my octave hit at the top. Triplet, 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 triplet. And then you want your inversions. I hit my octave on the third. This is the first inversion. You can do this as an exercise to develop your hand. I'm using a fingering of 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. Octave, back down the same way I came. I mean, that's just a great vehicle if you're playing a C7. Full chord. So you get the idea. This is what you want to do, is work on these. And then you have the last inversion, which we already talked about. So triads are where you come home to, you know, and you start getting more advanced voicings and more blues colors. Triads are going to get you there. I'll show you everything I did, but it won't matter if you don't have triads, because that's the infrastructure of everything cool that ever happened. See you next time.